An insider just dropped a bombshell Eagles trade update with multiple reports confirming that Howie Roseman is all in on this superstar and would put the Eagles in another tier among the NFL's elites. We'll break down everything surrounding this update and more on another edition of Eagles Digest. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Eagles Digest to give you guys everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles. And boy, oh boy, I got a show for you. We are going to talk about everything surrounding these Eagles trade update and this deadline in general. But before we get into this video, if you guys are not subscribed to this channel, we're currently at 610 subscribers. Our goal is to be at over 1,000 subscribers by the time the Eagles face off against the Packers in a couple of weeks on Monday Night Football. So that is our goal, to get to 1,000 subscribers by then. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, you better hit that subscribe button. It is free. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles. But getting right into this video, as it is Howie season, Howie Roseman is cooking up something big. And after the Eagles were able to acquire Michael Carter from the New York Jets, the Eagles seem like they are good at the cornerback position. They might add another guy, whether it's depth or another guy to pair on the outside if they feel like that is just. But I definitely think that this is going to change how everyone is going to view the Eagles as a scary opponent in the NFL. If they already are low on the Eagles, or they're not really thinking that they can go back to the Super Bowl, this report would just confirm that the Eagles are among the NFL's elites. As Zach Barr at Bleacher Report said, Robinson reported during a radio appearance on ESPN's Nashville 102.5 The Game that Howie Roseman and the Eagles are super hot after Myles Garrett, that Howie would give up like 3 first-round picks for him. And guys, this is wild. This is wild. Myles Garrett, we knew that going into the offseason that he was wanting to get out of Cleveland. He wanted to win a Super Bowl. He wanted to win a championship. But when the Cleveland Browns went to Myles Garrett and said, hey, just write the number that you want to stay in Cleveland, he basically gave him a blank check and he stayed in Cleveland. And now he is looking like, when he's, up there at the post-game press conference saying that I want to win, well, not a lot of people are going to feel bad about you deciding to stay and redo a contract with the team that you wanted to get away from. So it was very contradicting from Myles Garrett throughout this offseason and throughout this season, but it is clear and evident that the Eagles are looking to take advantage and seize this opportunity and make this big swing that I really want them to make. I really want them to get an edge rusher for this Eagles defense. I know that they have been playing really well as of late, but that was against the Giants. That was against the Vikings. You know that you're going to go against big name teams like the Lions and the Packers. And if you're able to get someone, especially with Micah Parsons being in Green Bay, if you're able to counter that with Myles Garrett in Philadelphia, I mean, watch out, because the Eagles are steamrolling throughout this whole NFC to get back to the Super Bowl. I am so confident that if the Eagles are able to make this trade, this could be huge for the Eagles, not just this season, but many seasons to come, to know that they have a unit, an absolute identity on defense that can transcend their defense into another stratosphere. There are some caveats to consider when talking about Myles Garrett. When we're looking at what he's been able to do this season, he's one of the best defender grades on PFF. He's second among edge rushers. He's one of the best in the game. We hands down, he may be the best defensive end in the NFL right now. So having a guy who is available possibly to go to Philadelphia, I mean, that would be insane. But you got to look at the caveats for Myles Garrett. It is his contract. His contract is very big right now. I mean, you're looking at it right now from just in this image right here for Myles Garrett. I mean, just looking at his contract, his base salary, you're not getting, you're not paying a lot to start off. But once it gets down into those, 3, 4 years, you're starting to pay a little bit more. So there's a lot of things that the Eagles have to look at with the cap situation. They either got to push the can down the road like they do with a lot of their players. Howie Roseman knows how to work the cap. He's one of the best in the NFL at doing that. But it's a lot to take on in the middle of the NFL season. So you're going to have to make sure that the contract is looking all right for the Eagles to transfer over. But if you get a generational guy like Myles Garrett, I think Howie Roseman won't even think about the cap situation. He'll say, I'm going to get the player. I'm going to deal with all of the contract stuff later on. And the other thing to just look at is the age of Myles Garrett. He is 29 years old. I understand that he is one of the best defensive ends in all of football, in football history. He's up there with one of the best defensive ends in all of history. But when is going to be the cliff? Because we obviously know when, a lot of players hit that age 30 season, it's like they're right in the middle of their prime. But is it going to be enough for the Philadelphia Eagles to trade for him? He's obviously a generational talent and he would help you out in the next couple of seasons, but throughout that contract, is that going to be worth it taking him among, these, when it goes to the 4th and 5th year? Is that going to be worth it for Myles Garrett to go to Philadelphia? I definitely think it is. I definitely think that is something that Philadelphia is just not really going to think about, because if they're able to land Myles Garrett, it's just going to change their defense all in all. But that's the only thing that I feel like a lot of people would ask is, when's going to be the cliff? But it's Myles Garrett. I mean, I don't know what we can say from, age. We can say like all these hypotheticals, but when you're able to get Myles Garrett in a defense, your defense is automatically one of the top 5 units in the NFL. And when we're looking at the compensation, we're looking at, the trade value. What would the Eagles have to give up? And one of the things that I was looking at for the Philadelphia Eagles is a mock trade for the Eagles to get Myles Garrett. You know how I like mock trades if you guys have been following Eagles Digest for a long time. Eagles would receive Myles Garrett. The Browns would receive a 2026 first-round pick, a 2026 third-round pick, which would be the Jets' third-round pick, which would probably be the first 3 picks in the third round. So you basically get a late second-round pick and a 2027 first-round pick. I'm hearing rumors that the Eagles would be willing to give up 3 first-round picks. I understand that Myles Garrett is one of the best defensive ends in NFL, maybe in NFL history. But when you're looking at 3 first-round picks, that is a lot to give up. When, just comparing it to the first-round picks that the Eagles have done the last 3 years, you're looking at Quinyon Mitchell, you're looking at Jahad Campbell, you're looking at Jalen Carter, you're looking at all 3 of those picks. You're going to have to give up like those caliber type of players to get a guy like Myles Garrett. Would that be something that the Eagles would be willing to give up? I'm not exactly sure if 3 first-round picks is too rich for any team to give up. Micah Parsons obviously did 2 first-round picks. I think that is the most that someone would go with. And you could also change that first-round pick into a third-round pick and a player. I mean, there's players that the Eagles would be willing to give up. I don't think on the edge, but when you're looking at the defensive players that have stepped up for the Philadelphia Eagles that are very young, I mean, you're looking at a guy like Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I definitely think with Nakobe Dean, Jahad Campbell, and Zach Bond being the main linebackers on this Eagles team, I think Jeremiah Trotter is flexible to trade off if you're trying to get a guy like Myles Garrett. Another guy is Smile Mondon. I mean, he's been doing well. I know he's only a rookie, but he's also a young player that I think the Browns would like to see on their defense. Sidney Brown, Keely Ringo, all of those guys on defense, I think the Browns would look at to try to get some value already and an established young player along with draft compensation. So let me know your thoughts on this trade. I definitely think the Eagles are going to have to give up at least 2 first-round picks and a player, but it definitely might mean that the Eagles are going to have to give up more as the trade deadline is dwindling away. But I definitely think with Myles Garrett's stats, when you're just kind of looking at it, I mean, this is just unbelievable from a guy who's 29 years old. In 8 games, he has 10 sacks, one forced fumble, 15 tackles for loss, 22 solo tackles, and 15 QB hits. I mean, he is unbelievable. He is just someone who, if Vic Fangio has to worry about anything right now, if he has to worry about the defensive end group, he won't have to worry about it at all going into any game if he has Myles Garrett on one side. And that can help out other teams because they might double team Myles Garrett, but then Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, or Nolan Smith, when he comes back, he'll be able to feast. So, there's only 5 offensive linemen that can be on the field at once. You can't, yes, you can bring in another tight end to try to chip block, but there's only so much that you can do against one player that another player is going to get free. So if you're able to do Myles Garrett, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith on one line, as well as Jahad Campbell, Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, and you're throwing in Jalix Hunt there, I mean, just watch out because this Eagles defense would be ready to feast, and the Eagles would automatically be up there in the Super Bowl favorites if they not are already. But that's going to do it for another edition of Eagles Digest. Before we let you go, I just want to give this question to you guys. What would be a realistic trade offer to land Myles Garrett? Comment down below your thoughts on what would be a realistic trade offer to get Myles Garrett in midnight green. I definitely think that this is a possible thing that the Eagles are going to look at because this is not just smoke. This is something that Howie Roseman is trying to land a big meal ticket to help this Eagles Super Bowl window to be wide open for the next 3 to 5 years. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let's get Myles Garrett in midnight green, and let's see this Eagles defense feast once again.